Hello, everybody. Welcome to another class with Web Yeshiva. I'm still David Sedley, and we're still doing the Shemoneh Esrei in depth. Tonight, we're going to speak about the final bracha, the blessing of peace. It is not the last class in this series. Next week, I'll be speaking about the extra prayers we say after we finish praying. Then we'll take a break for February, and in March, there are two more shiurim that will be connected, still continuing with the Amida, connected to Purim. So stay for this week, come back next week, take a break, and then come back in March. Okay, so it feels very emotional to speak about a blessing for peace in a week that saw the release of 3 of the hostages by Hamas, and with plans, please God, hopefully, to release 30 more hostages over the next few weeks. I don't know if this is the peace that the prayers and the rabbis were speaking about, because it comes at a high price, and is a peace that may lead to future war. But in the meantime, let us be happy and celebrate the return of the hostages, and look forward to real and lasting peace for everybody. So this is the bracha of peace, and so let's see, and it's the 19th of the 18 blessings. So I wrote down some questions. The first one is, why are there 2 forms of this blessing? Now, if you are Sephardi, certainly many Sephardi communities, you'll say, what do you mean? There's only one version. They say Sim Shalom, Shacharit, Mincha, and Maariv. If you are Ashkenazi, you'll say, we only say Sim Shalom in the morning at Shacharit, and Mincha and Maariv, we say Shalom Rav. If you are Nusach Sephard, you'll say Shacharit and Mincha, we say Sim Shalom, and Maariv, we say Shalom Rav. Anyway, many communities have 2 versions of this prayer, so why are there 2 completely different versions? What's the connection between Sim Shalom and Birkat Cohanim? Why is blessing, of all the things to end with, why is peace the last blessing of the Amida? And I guess a whole bunch of small questions, but one of which is, we say, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, right? Make peace on us and all of Israel. Now, if we're praying alone, it should either it's nonsensical, because what is the us? Or it should be alai, that somehow I should make peace with myself and all of Israel. So that's just one of a whole bunch of questions that I'm going to try and answer, hopefully, possibly, in this blessing. So I'm sure you're familiar with the words of the blessing, but let's look anyway. Sim Shalom, place peace, Tova uvracha, goodness and blessing, Chen v'chesed v'rachamim, favor, kindness, and compassion. Those 3 are in many ways synonyms. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael amecha, on us and on all of your people Israel. So we're asking God for peace and blessing. We say again, Barchenu Avinu, bless us, our Father, Kulanu ke'achad, all of us together. That's us and all of Israel. Ba'or panecha, in the light of your countenance. Why is that important? Ki v'or panecha, because with the light of your countenance, natat lanu Hashem Elokeinu, you gave us God, Torat Chaim, the Torah of life, v'avat chesed, and love of kindness. Utzdaka, you gave us righteousness, uvracha, and you gave us blessing, v'rachamim, and mercy, v'chaim, and life, v'shalom, and peace. So we have bracha mentioned for a 3rd time, and rachamim mentioned for a 2nd time, and shalom a 2nd time. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol et v'chol shah b'shalamecha. It is good in your eyes to bless your people Israel at every time, every moment, with your peace. And what is your peace? Baruch atah Hashem hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Blessed are you, God, who blesses His people with peace. So there's kind of redundancy, repetition. We're asking God to bless us. That feels a bit weird in a bracha that we're blessing God. Okay, now that is again, that is more or less that's the nusach for every community. Few minor changes, and everybody says that in Shacharit and in Musaf. And then, as I said, some people, Hasidic communities say it also at Mincha, Sephardi communities say it also at Mariv. Some Ashkenazi communities say it at Mincha on Shabbat and Mincha on fast days. Okay. However, there's a different version, which is a much simpler version. The bracha is the same, but the Shalom Rav, Shalom Chatasim La'olam. Place peace on great peace on your people, Israel, forever. Because you are the king, the master of peace. V'tov be'enecha, it is good in your eyes, levarechet amcha Israel, to bless your people Israel, b'chol et v'chol shah b'shlemecha, all times, all hours, with your peace. Baruch atah Hashem hamvarech et amo Israel b'shalom. Bless you who blesses people with peace. So it's like a short version, taking out all the excitement from the bracha. Now, the structure of the blessing, there's kind of 4 parts to this blessing. We start first asking for peace. Sim shalom tov avracha chen v'ches rachmanim v'kol Yisrael amecha. Right, play peace on us and all these other good things, on us and all of Israel, your people. And then we ask for ha'arat panim, right? B'acheinu avinu kol echad b'or panecha, ki v'or panecha nasat lana, right? Do all this in the radiance of your presence, of light of your face. And then we say continuous blessing. So just sorry to back up. So this or panecha is missing from the Shalom Rav bracha, isn't it? That's really the main piece that's missing. We don't ask for God's countenance. And then we ask for God blessing. This blessing should be continual, right? Tov beinecha levarecha amcha Yisrael b'chol et v'chol shah, all the time, every moment. And then we end, right, in the bracha, bless you who blesses people with peace. So those are the 4 sections of this blessing. Now, I want to ask, or know, or find out why is, what's the connection to Birkat Cohanim? Why does this follow after Birkat Cohanim? So the Gemara in Megillah, I guess this is the last time we'll need to come to this Gemara because we've now finished the entire Amida in order. Maro is the slowest Daf Yomi in the world. We start on 17b and several months later we're on 18a. Maro ulama sim shalom. Birkat Cohanim. Why did the rabbis, in the order of the Amida, why did they put sim shalom after the blessing of the Kohanim? Dichtiv, because it says in Bamidbar, v'samu et shemi al b'nei Yisrael v'ani avarachem, right? Place my name on the children of Israel and I will bless them. Brachad HaKadosh Baruch Hu shalom. The blessing of God is peace. Shneimar Hashem yavrechet amoy v'shalom. God blesses his people with peace. So if it says that God is going to ani avarachem, I will bless you. What is that blessing? It is peace. So we do sim shalom immediately afterwards. And actually, before I do that, there are a lot of parallels between sim shalom and Birkat Cohanim. Obviously, Birkat Cohanim ends with the word shalom, and also includes Ya'er Hashem panecha, right? Panav elecha. He should have ha'arat panim, the light of God's countenance, and yivrecha, the blessing. So the 3, if I go back to here, the Vilna Gaon points out that the 3 blessings of Birkat Cohanim, kind of Yivrecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, is really this first blessing, right? Give us peace, goodness, and blessing. And then Ya'er Hashem panav elecha v'yichboneka, right? Shine your face upon us, is the second part over here, with the light of your face. And then the third part is shalom, which is the ending of this. Give us peace at all times. So there's a parallel structure or outline. And I was going to say there's 53 words. Is that right? Can't be. Okay, never mind. So the main blessing of God is the blessing of peace. Now, in order to get peace, I guess it's kind of a detour. We're asking God to give us peace, but at the same time, we have to work towards peace ourselves, and that means loving each other, or being kind to each other, or nice to each other, and to ourselves. So we all know the verse "V'ahavta kamocha" in Vayikra, and this Birkat Rabbah, very famous midrash, "V'ahavta kamocha." You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Zeh klal gadol b'Torah. This is the biggest principle in the Torah, the fundamental principle of the Torah. Right? Ben Azai Omer, Zeh sefer toldot Hadam. Zeh klal gadol mizeh. So Ben Azai, who is one of Rabbi Akiva's students, like colleague students, says that this is the book of the generations of Adam. Is an even greater principle. Rabbi Akiva's version of Avterecha Kamocha is similar but different to Hillel's maxim when the potential convert comes to Hillel, right? First goes to Shammai and says, I want to convert while standing on one foot. Shammai shows him the door. He goes to Hillel and says, I want to convert as long as you can teach me the whole Torah while I'm standing on one foot. And Hillel says to him, "Ma'adesani lach lechavrecha tavid," right? That which you hate, don't do to your friend, which is the inverse of do to him what you do like, right? Love your neighbor as yourself, or don't do things that you don't like. I'm not going to go into the difference between those two versions, whether he said in the positive or the negative. Ben Azai says that this seemingly innocuous verse, right? Birkat Rabbah says, Sefer Toldot Adam b'yom bara Elokim Adam b'dmut Elokim asa oto. This is the book of generations of Adam. On the day God created man, in the image of God, he made him. Right? That doesn't seem like a more important principle than V'ahavta kamocha. Certainly not if we are looking for peace or trying to work out, right? Ben Azai could be disagreeing with Rabbi Akiva, but he could be sharpening or taking Rabbi Akiva's principle to another level. So I guess the simple understanding of Ben Azai, actually no, before I say that, Rabbi Akiva doesn't really disagree with Ben Azai because Ben Azai's name, by the way, was Shimon. Rabbi Akiva had two students called Shimon. So Shimon ben Azai and Shimon ben Zoma just got called by their patronyms because having two Shimons was confusing. Well, actually, and then there's also Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who was also a student. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Hu haya Omer, Chaviv Adam shnivra b'tzelem. Rabbi Akiva used to say, beloved is a man who's created in God's image. Chi bayeter nodad lo shnivra b'tzelem. And even greater love was shown to humanity because they were told that they were created in the image of God. Shneimah, it says, Ki b'tzelem Elokim asayat Adam. God made man in the image of God. So that's not quite the same as Ben Azai. Ben Azai's verse is in the Demut Elokim, right, in the likeness of God. And Rabbi Akiva says that the love that God shows for people is through the Tselem, telling him that he's created in Tselem Elokim. But clearly that's an important principle for Rabbi Akiva too. So the simple reading of Ben Azai, I think, is that Rabbi Akiva says you should love everybody, and Ben Azai is giving you like a tool in which to do that if you understand that everybody is created in Demut Elokim, that there's a godliness within everybody, then it's much easier. You're not only loving your neighbor, you're loving God, right? The principle, right? Even if your neighbor is a pain in the backside, when you understand that he's also part of Demut Elokim, or in Rabbi Akiva's version, Tselem Elokim, then it's much easier to love him because he's just a manifestation of God in some version. So that's a straightforward, simple understanding of Ben Azai. I don't love that so much because then he should have said, B'tzelem Elokim barato, b'demut Elokim asaoto. Instead he says, Zeh sefer toldot Adam, which seems like, why is he focusing on the beginning of that verse? Ben Azai, this is Ben Azai is saying this, Huay Omer, he used to say, Al tir baz l'chol adam, don't despise any person, Val tir maflig l'chol davar, don't discriminate against anything, don't argue on anything, She'ein lecha adam she'ein lo sha'ah, there's no person who doesn't have his moment, Ve'ein lecha davar she'ein lo makom, there's no thing that doesn't have its place. So Ben Azai is saying in Pirkei Avot that every person and everything has its moment. So here he's saying that don't despise it, but I wonder if that's going to lead to loving. If you understand, however annoying that person is, they're created for a purpose and a reason. They've got their moment. There's going to be a time that they're going to do you a favor. They're going to do something that you even don't know about that's going to be of benefit to you, be of benefit to the world. It's going to make the world a better place. So you should never be mean to them, despise them, and that's going to lead to love. And I think perhaps that's what Zed Sefer Toldot Hadam is, understanding that everybody has a purpose or a place in God's creation, and that whatever they're doing and however they're doing it is a reflection of their role in that world. And here's another use of this idea of Sefer Toldot Adam, although in a different way, right? So Shmuel, right, the famous Shmuel from who is the colleague of Rav, Shmuel Yachinai, as he's known, was also a doctor, and he healed Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, who was ill. So Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi wanted to give Shmuel smicha. He wanted to make him into a rabbi because he was going back from Israel back to Bavel to lead yeshiva. So Havakim Itzdayer, Rabbi Lesamche, Rabbi made efforts to give Shmuel smicha, but it just didn't work out. Pardon me, I don't know what that means exactly, but every time he tried, there'd be some reason why he couldn't do it. Amalei, Shmuel said back to Rabbi, don't worry about it. I saw the book of Adam Harishon. Right, there's a book somewhere which has the whole of history, the Sefer Toldot Adam, the book of all of the generations of humanity, and it says in it what everyone's role is going to be. And it says, it says in this book, Shmuel Yachinai Hakim Yetkare, that Shmuel Yachinai is going to be called a wise man, meaning a physician according to this translation. V'Rebbe Lo Yitkar, but he won't be called rabbi. For Asu, the Rebbe al Yadad Tehei, and he's going to cure Rebbe's illness. And also in this book of history, it says, Rebbe for Rabbi Natan Sof Mishnah, that Rebbe and Rabbi Natan are going to be the end of the period of the Mishnah, and Rav Ashi Ravina Sof Hara'ah, Rav Ashi and Ravina are the end of the period of teaching, which is commonly understood to mean the end of the Talmudic period. I'm not really going to go into that. It's unclear why Rabbi Natan is mentioned there. It's unclear which Ravina we're talking about and why they're the end of the Gemara. But the point that I want from this is that Shmuel understood that Sefer Toldot Adam is a book in which God has laid out the plan for all of humanity from the beginning to the end. Everything has its place, everything has its purpose. And so Shmuel doesn't get upset that he doesn't get to become. I mean, it would have been very useful for him to have smicha. He could have gone to Bavel. He would have been recognized. He would have had, even though he was the head of yeshiva, he would have had more authority, been able to rule more halachot. Would have had greater respect if he'd had smicha. He didn't get smicha. He didn't get upset with Rebbe. The opposite. He said to Rebbe, "You shouldn't be upset because this is the way it's supposed to be. This is God's plan. Everything happens for a reason and for a purpose. If I don't have smicha, because that's part of God's plan." And so I wonder if, when back to this, when Ben Azai says, "Zeh Sefer Toldot Adam, Zeh Klal Gadol Mizeh," he's really saying that the way to love everybody is to understand that everybody has their purpose, has their role to play, is part of the history of the world, is part of God's plan for creation from the beginning, from Adam Rishon until the end of history. And therefore, however frustrating, annoying, whatever, that's going to lead to peace. So why am I saying all this? Because if we're making a blessing about peace, while we're saying the bracha of peace, it's also incumbent upon us to, right, just as I think I said 2 weeks ago, Birkat Cohanim, a Kohen who's having a fight, who has a fight with somebody in shul, who's angry with someone in shul, may not do Birkat Cohanim. Kohen can't give the blessing of peace while he's having a fight with somebody. So too, we can't say Sim Shalom, the blessing of peace, if we're fighting with other people. And the way, and that's not halacha, but saying metaphor or conceptually, and the way to not fight with people, because people are a heck of an annoying, and I don't know if it's worse or not, but the social media that just is designed for people to fight with each other and hate each other and get angry with each other, and then the news makes people angry with each other, and I don't know, everything we see makes us angry. And apart from not being healthy and not being good for society, it gets in the way of our praying. We're praying for peace, so we should do that. We should think about what it means to love one another. That's the big principle. The goal in life is not to put a tweet or an X or whatever it's called, or write something nasty on Facebook or whatever, Blue Sky. Rather, the goal of everything, the goal of our lives, the reason we're here is to love everybody. And so Rabbi Kiva says, love everybody. Ben Azai says the way to do that is even that guy over there who's driving you crazy, he's there for a reason. And if it's not him, then it's going to be his kid or his grandkid. You don't know what role he's playing in the history. But if he's here, he must have a role, he must have a place, or she, or whoever, right? He or she or they. God created them and put them in this world for a purpose. So don't get in the way of God's plan. Don't get angry with them. It's not going to work. It's a waste of your time. But B, it's really not trusting God if you're going to get angry with somebody. So that's why I like this story of Shmuel, who doesn't get upset when this kind of bad thing happens. He says, listen, that's just the way it's supposed to be. That's how it goes. And so with that attitude, it's much easier to pray Sim Shalom. Fine. Now we'll go back to the prayer itself and the connection to Birkat Cohanim. The Avud Raham says, is a commentary on, I can't remember his first name now, Yehuda Avud Raham, commentary on the Siddur. He says, Atam shetiknu levarechet Yisrael b'sof kol tefillah. The reason that the bracha is, right, levarechet amachai Yisrael, we say a blessing for all of Israel at the end of the prayer, lefisha tefillot keneged tmidim tiknum, because each of the prayer services corresponds to one of the two daily sacrifices. Two daily sacrifices. V'kemoshe b'chol pam b'hashlim ha'avodah, and just as every time when the Kohanim finished offering their sacrifice, hayu Kohanim mevarachin et Yisrael, the Kohanim would then turn around and bless Israel. K'mosh ne'emar, as it says, v'yis'aron et yadav el ha'am v'yivarachem. Right, Aharon, this is the Birkat Cohanim. Aaron, sorry, no, it's not. It's when they set up the Mishkan, and Aaron then blesses the people. The K'tiv Kol tivarchu b'nei Israel, and it says in Birkat Cohanim, so this is how you should bless the people. So too, we end our prayer, our sacrifice of words, with a blessing for the people, right? To bless us and all of Israel with peace. And Vayikra Rabbah talks about the greatness of peace. Rabbi Mani de Shav, Rabbi Yehoshua de Sichnin. Rabbi Mani from a place called Shav, I don't know where that is. Rabbi Yehoshua from Sichnin, which I think is up in the Galilee. B'Shem Rabbi Levi, they said the name of Rabbi Levi. Gadol Shalom, how great is peace. Shekol brachot v'tovot v'nechamot sheHakadosh Baruch Hu mivian al Yisrael. All of the blessings and the goodness and the consolations that God brings on Israel, chotmim b'shalom. They all end with peace. They're sealed with peace. Why? B'kriyat Shema, when we say after the blessing, after the Shema, or the last blessing, the second last blessing of Shema is Pares Sukkot Shalom, who spreads the tabernacle of peace. But Tefillah, Oseh Shalom, at the end of prayer, we say Oseh Shalom. Birkat Cohanim, V'yasem Lecha Shalom. Birkat Cohanim means with peace. I just repeated this twice, didn't I? Sorry. No, did I go the wrong way? Yeah, I went the wrong way. Okay, fine. So everything ends with peace. So the Birkat Tefillah ends with peace because that's God's signature. So we say all these prayers asking God for everything that we want in the world. And then we end with the thanking God, right, with Modim V'al al atov al whatever. We end with God saying thank you very much for God for everything we have, and then ending with peace, which is how God ends all of His prayers too, and His blessings to us. Now we have this concept of us versus the me, and in the book Otzer Tefillot, one of the commentaries there is called Dover Shalom, and he asks the following question: L'ch'oira, it would seem, if somebody prays by themselves, not with the minyan, it doesn't make sense for them to say on us and all of Israel. To me, well, what does he mean by us? There's just him. Right? I mean, but if he's praying with a minyan, you say, great, can we have peace on us and this minyan here? We shouldn't start fighting that Shul went too slow or too fast, or the rabbi talked too long or too short. Shalom amongst us in this community, and this minyan, and then also on all of the rest of Israel. But if he's praying by himself, he should have said on me, give peace to me and all of Israel. What does it mean, peace to us? Right? It doesn't make sense. I like that question a lot. But here's the answer. Ach be'emet, horat shalom hu al itchabrut v'ishtavut inyanim hamidnagdim zeh lezeh. He says the concept of peace means to unite or harmonize two things that are opposites. Nimtzak she'achin mevakesh shalom. So when an individual asks for peace, kavanato, he means shelo yesh lo shum inyan. He shouldn't have any conflict with anybody else. Or any conflict with God. Or conflict with the nature, with the order of things. Or with any other people, or with any other events and times. Or anything to do with his body. Peace is everything. Peace includes everything. So in that case, you can't have peace by yourself. Like one person can't have peace. Peace means how I interact with my surroundings, with other people, with God, with the world around me. Right? So you have to have at least two opposites in order to have peace. Two things that interact or conflict with each other in order to have peace. Therefore, shafir kama gam hiyachid. That therefore it makes sense that an individual also says sim shalom, place peace aleinu, on us. Hainu alayv al minagdai, means on me and anything with which I'm in conflict, anything I come into contact to or deal with or relate to, all of us. And that peace of me with everybody, me with others, spread that out to all of Israel. That phrase might seem familiar to you, because if you've said Birkat Hamazon, we have the same phrase. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, hazanat olam kulo b'tuvo, who sustains the whole world with His goodness, b'chein uv'chesed uv'rachamim, with grace, kindness, and compassion. Or however you're going to translate those three words, that all kind of mean the same thing. I don't know why is that in there. Okay, fine. Right, so that is the first blessing of Birkat Hamazon. We thank God for providing for everything, and the same idea of grace, kindness, and compassion appears there, and well, maybe seems a bit out of place, or maybe not. The bracha is based on the verse in Tehillim that God provides the food for everything from the great mighty Re'em, the Oraks, to the Kinei Beitzim, Kinim, to the eggs of lice. God provides every animal and everything with exactly what it needs to grow, to flourish, to survive. And obviously that's also going to lead to peace, because both, well, especially between nations, the opposite of peace, meaning war, is almost always either over it's over resources, right? If I don't have enough food, I go and conquer your territory to make sure I have more food. Or if I want more territory, I take your territory. So usually food somewhere along the line is connected to peace. If you're around in the 80s, and you remember Live Aid and the whole starvation in Ethiopia and in Sudan, it wasn't, the famine was caused by war, right? Not the other way around, that the lack of peace also led to starving. So when we pray for God to feed us, or thank God for feeding us in Birkat Hamazon, that's also when we connected to the prayer for peace, because the two go hand in hand. And then we say Torat Chaim v'Ahavat Chesed, which is the name of many kollels, both of those. So Rav Kook explains Torat Chaim, Achshav Torah natati lechem. In this world I've given you Torah. Latid lavo Chaim ani noten lechem. In the future I'll give you Chaim. So Torat Chaim is called Torat Chaim. It's a living Torah, but also it's the Torah in this world that gives you life in the next world, which I think is a nice idea. And there's a story of Shalom Shwadron, the Maggid of Jerusalem, who used to say there are two mitzvot that a person performs with joy. One is studying Torah. That if you there's a joy in learning Torah that is, I won't say it's unequaled by anything else, but it's just learning Torah can be the most pleasurable experience. And I guess if it's not pleasurable, then you're doing it wrong. But anyway, and the other thing is chesed. When you do something kind for somebody else, that's the best feeling in the world. When you feel you've helped somebody, it makes you feel great. So those two things of learning Torah and kindness to others are two things that just give immediate happiness. We don't have to wait, unlike Rav Kook, we don't have to wait to Olam Haba. We get immediate happiness in this world. And so they bring happiness, and that's tested and proven. So we ask God for Avat Chesed, Torah Chaim v'Avat Chesed, that God should give us the ability to learn Torah, to enjoy learning Torah, and to be able to do kindness to other people as well. And we ask Ba'or Panecha, which means Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, Ein lanu ela harat panecha bilvad. The only thing we need, the only thing we have, is the light of your face. Shneimah he'er panecha v'nosha, right? Shine your face and we will be saved. And that shine, he's commenting on the verse in Tehillim, Hashem Elokim tzavakot shivanu, right? Lord God, return us, he'er panecha v'nivasheh, shine your light upon us and we'll be saved. So if we get too far away from you, right, metaphorically, we're too far away, we don't know the way back, shine your light, and then that will cause us to be saved. That will cause us to come back to God. The light of God is like a lighthouse, a beacon, calling us back to God, and also bestowing us with His kindness and His love. And I guess if we feel God's love, that helps us to love other people, and that leads to peace, right? Just speaking for myself, often if I'm having a fight with somebody, it's because I'm really having my own issues that have nothing to do with that person at all, and then it just comes out. If I'm in a good place and I'm happy, then I don't need to fight with you because, okay, I mean, you're an idiot and you're annoying me, but that's not my problem. It's your problem, right? But when so when I experience that harat panim, when I feel God's love, God's light, and I'm in a good place myself, then that automatically leads me to peace. And when I'm not feeling that, and I'm upset or depressed or angry or frustrated, then I'll quite happily take it out on other people around me. So that appreciating the harat panim, the light of God's countenance, the shining presence of God is what leads to peace, I think. And so now, from here to the end, I've just got a whole bunch of statements about the importance of peace, because I'm sure there's a lot more to say about this blessing, but I didn't really find any good commentaries that said a whole bunch more. And so I'm just going to talk about peace, because we're all praying for peace, hoping for peace. So, Shemot Rabbah. I don't know, Yitzchak. That's a good question, what that means. Is the light of Hashem's face the feeling? Is it a feeling? Is it an intellectual idea? Is it something that comes from without or something that comes from within? I don't have an answer to that question. But, well, I know. I just said we feel it, but I don't really. Yes, let's say it's a feeling of God's presence. I think there are times that you kind of feel it, but I don't know if that's what it really means or not, but yes. Okay, so Shemot Rabbah. And I put this here mainly because it's this week's Torah reading. So at Shabbos table, you can have something unusual to say, an unusual take on the plagues. The rabbis, the Chazal said, Hamakot she'avir Kadosh Baruch Hu ala Mitzrayim, right? When God brought the plagues on the Egyptians, it caused peace amongst them. What does that mean? Ketzad. How so? B'nei Kush or B'nei Mitzrayim. There was a fight, a border dispute between Ethiopia and Egypt. Right? The Egyptians said our border goes up to here. And the Ethiopians said our border goes up to here. Like in India, Pakistan today, or several border conflicts around the world, disputing out where's your border? Is it here or is it there? When the frogs arrived, the plague of frogs, they made peace between them. Why? If wherever the frogs went, you knew that belonged to Egypt. Moshe said to Pharaoh, the frogs were going to all of your borders, means to your borders and not the borders of your neighbors. So all they do is check where the frogs went and draw the line there, and that was the end of the fight between Ethiopia and Egypt about where to draw the border. So I thought it was a cute silver lining in the plague of frogs. While the Egyptians are suffering, they can also know, at least the cartographers are happy drawing the borders in the right places, know exactly where the lines are. Amar Rabbi Simon, we're going back to the creation, beginning of creation. Amar Rabbi Simon, B'shah sheba HaKadosh Baruch livrot et Adam harishon. When God wanted to create, was about to create man, Adam, na'asu malachei ashret kitim. The angels all lined up in opposition to one another in different groups. V'chavurot. Mehem omrim al yibareh. Some of them said, don't create man. What do we want humanity for? Or mehem omrim yibareh. And other angels said, do create God. Hadot dichtiv. This is the meaning of the verse in Tehillim. Chesed ve'emet nifgashu. Tzedek v'shalom nashaku. Right? Kindness and truth met, and righteousness and peace touched. Right? Came into conflict. What does that mean? Chesed omer yibareh. Kindness said to God, create man. Shul gomel chasadim, because the purpose, the essence of a person is to do kindness to others. Ve'emet omer al yibareh. And truth said, no way. Don't create man. Shekulo shkarim. Everything is a lie. There's nothing true. Tzedek omer yibareh. Tzedek said, righteousness said, do create man. Sure said tzedakot, because a person does righteousness. Shalom omer, peace says, al yibareh. Tekulek tata, don't make, because humanity is all about fights. You'll never have any peace if you create man. So we have chesed and tzedek, kindness and justice saying create the world, because people do kindness and they do justice, they do righteousness. And we have emet and shalom saying don't create truth and peace. No way, because people can't do truth, they can't do peace. So what did God do? He took truth and he flung it out to the earth. Hado Tichtiv, it says in Daniel, V'tashlech emet arza, he cast truth to the ground. So now it was a tie 2-2. Now God chucked out truth. That's gone. It's 2 against 1, right? On the one side we have chesed and tzedek, kindness and righteousness. On the other side we have peace. So follow the majority. The angel said to God, Rabbana Olamim, Master of the universe, why? Truth is your signature. God, you are true. What are you throwing truth to the ground for? And God says back, Taleh emet min haaretz, the truth will ascend from the earth. Hadu t'chtiv emet me'az titzmach, as it says in Tehillim, truth will flourish from the earth. So God says truth can't be imposed from above. Truth is something we have to figure out for ourselves and figure out for ourselves that principle. So anyway, that's peace over there, saying don't create people, because what we are is fighting animals, right? We never have peace. So we're praying for peace. It's really praying to go against our nature, right? Against who we are. And even peace said we shouldn't be created. Fine. Sifra rather. Shema tamru hare machal v'mishteh. Right? Maybe you'll say, we've given God, we've asked God for all these things. God's given us everything we want, right? We, like in the Shema, gives us rain at the right time, and the produce, and the grain, and the wine, and the oil. Maybe you'll say, hare machal hare mishteh. Good, thanks God. We've got food, and we've got drink. Imein shalom ein klum. But if we've got no peace, then it's not worth anything. Talmud Lomar, so that's why God adds that, so I'll put peace on the earth. This teaches that peace is equivalent to everything else. Right? You've got food and you've got drink and you've got whatever you need, but if you don't have peace, it's not worth anything. And you have peace, it's worth everything. Similarly, it says in Isaiah, who creates peace and who makes peace and creates bad. This teaches that peace corresponds to everything, right? When we say Kriyat Shema, we fudge that verse, don't we? We say Oseh Shalom Uvarei Hakol, that God makes peace and creates everything. But Isaiah, the original verse, Oseh Shalom Uvarei Ra, that God makes peace and creates evil. So the Shalom, the peace, is equivalent to everything else. Without peace, is nothing. You know this Mishnah in Peah because it's right at the beginning of davening and the beginning of the Siddur. It says, Elu dvarim she'adam ochel per adam ba'olam hazeh, v'aken kaimet lo le'olam haba. These are the things that a person enjoys them in this world, and enjoys the fruits of his labor in this world, and the principle remains in the world to come. And they are kibud av v'em. Somehow these are the most important mitzvot, or these are unique mitzvot that we get benefit both here and in the future. Kibud av v'em, honoring your parents. Gemilut chasadim, doing kind things to other people. V'avat shalom ben adam lechavero, and bringing peace between people. Right? All of those things you enjoy immediately, and you get the true reward in the world to come. The Talmud Torah Kanid Kolam, and learning Torah is equivalent or greater than or all of them. There is an interpretation I heard which says that all of these only work if they're done with Torah as well. Okay, but the simple meaning is that Torah beats them. But if you look in the Sifri, and so it seems that peace is even greater than Torah. So here's a whole list of the benefits of peace. And again, if you've lived through war, you don't need to be told about the benefits of peace. But sometimes we forget. So Gadol HaShalom, how great is peace? Shafilu b'shat milchama tzrichim shalom. Even when you're having a war, you need peace. Shneimah says in Ki Tetzei, Ki tikrav el ir lehilachem alea, when you draw near to a city to fight against it, v'kra'ata alel shalom, you should call out for it for peace. Offer a peace deal, peace treaty, before you go to war. And similarly it says, V'shlach melachem mimibar kedemot, el sichon melech cheshbon, tivrei shalom. Moshe Rabbeinu, the Jews, are coming through the desert, they're about to go into Israel, they want to go through Sichon's land, and rather than fight him, they first send a message saying, can we just walk through without fighting? Can we have peace? And of course, Sichon rejects that, and then Moshe, they fight, and Sichon is killed. But so before you fight, you offer peace. Similarly, Gadol Shalom Shafilu Meitim Tzrichim Shalom. Peace is so great, even dead people need peace. Shneimar, because it says, Vata, God says to Avram, I think Avram, or maybe not Avram, now I'm questioning myself. It says, Vata tavo avotecha b'shalom, you will come to your ancestors in peace. And Va'amar b'shalom tamud b'misrefot avotecha, that's talking about Achav, maybe, I don't remember. It says that you will die with peace and be brought to the burning ceremonies of your fathers. I never understood what the burning ceremonies were in there, so I'm going to leave that alone. But what we say, Lech b'shalom, right, when somebody passes away, so they're going in peace. Gadol Shalom Sheten Laseh Tshuva. Peace is so great, it's given to those who repent. Shneimar, it says, Borei Niv Sfatayim, who creates the lips, the words of the lips. Shalom, Shalom, the Rachok v'Lakarov. Peace, peace to those who are near and those who are close. Those who are far and those who are close. So whether you're far from God or close to God, peace is what? You still have this connection of peace, it brings you close. And Gadol Shalom Shniten B'Chelkam Shel Tzadikim. Great is peace, for it's given the portion of the righteous. Shneimar Yavo Shalom Yanuchu Al Mishkavotam. Peace will come and rest on their beds. Gadol Shalom Shenitan B'Chelkam Shel Shem. Conversely, great is peace that's not given to the wicked. Shneimar In Shalom Amar Hashem L'Rashaim. God says there's no peace, no rest for the wicked. Gadol Shalom Shenitan L'Ovei Torah. Great is peace because it's given to those who love Torah. Shneimar says Shalom Rav L'Ovei Toratecha. Great peace to those who love your Torah. Gadol Shalom Shenitan La'anavim. Great is peace that's given to the humble. Shneimar Va'anavim Yushu Eretz V'it Angu Al Rov Shalom. The meek will inherit the earth and will rejoice with great peace. Gadol Shalom Shenitan La'lomdei Torah. Great is Torah. Peace is given to those who learn Torah. Shneimar says V'chol Banayach Limudei Hashem V'rav Shalom Banayach. All your children will learn God's word, and much peace will be for your children. Gadol Shalom Shenitan L'aseh Tzedakah. Greatest peace is given to those who do charity or who do righteousness. Shneimar Vayam Aseh Tzedakah Shalom. The act of tzedakah is peace. So all of these are show the importance of peace. Gadol Shalom Sheshmo Shel Kodesh Baruch Hu Karui Shalom. Great is peace because one of God's names is peace. Shneimar says, Vayikra lo Hashem Shalom. He called him God of peace. There's a halachic question about whether you may call somebody, if you've got a friend whose name is Shalom, and you're in the bathroom or the swimming pool or the mikveh, can you say the name Shalom to your friend since it's one of God's names? Or can you say Shalom to any of your friends since it's the name of God? And if you remember of Yosef Shalom Eliashiv, who was considered the Gadol Hador until he passed away, 5-8 years ago. I don't remember when he passed away. He used to write his name Yosef Shalom. He would the Vav of Shalom. He would not write it properly, like you do. To God G-D. He would write Shalom without the Vav properly, so that he wouldn't be writing God's name in vain. So anyway, Shalom is one of God's names. Whether you literally have to be careful about saying Shalom or not, in the same way you are about saying God, is a halakha question. Rabbi Chananya Skan Kohanim Omer Gadol. Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay, Michael, exactly. Rav Mordechai was once asked whether you can wear a kippah with Shalom on it in the bathroom, right? Or a necklace that says Shalom, or I don't know what the answer is. Okay, turn it inside out. Okay. Rabbi Hanan, fine. Nowadays people do even crazier things than wear Shalom on their kippah. But okay. Rabbi Hanan Yiskan Lekonim Omer Gadol Shom Sheshakol Keneged Kol Maseh Bereshit. How great is peace? It's equivalent to all of creation. Because God creates mountains and creates wind, He does peace and creates evil. Gadol Shalom Sha'elyonim Tzrichim Lo. Greatest peace, even the heavens need peace. Shneimah Hamashal Pachad Imo Oseh Shalom Bimromav. The I don't know how to say this. Dominion and fear are with Him. He makes peace in His heavens. Right, and that's the end of our dove. I know we're at the last blessing now, but we're going to end next week. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Right, another round of peace. Thanks, Howard. Rabbi Yashu passed away in 2012. So, Harei Dvarim Kal V'chomer. If we can make a Kal V'chomer, if the heavens need peace, right, then how much more so do we need peace? Ma b'makom she'en eva v'tacharut v'sina or balei devava. In a place in the heavens where there's no enmity, there's no jealousy, no competition, no hatred. But nevertheless, Tzrichim Shalom, they need peace. Kal v'chomer l'makom she'esh bo kol hamidul halo. How much more so in the world where we do have jealousy and competition and hatred and anger, all those kinds of things. How much more so do we need peace? And so this, I think, I actually, this was the first slide I made for this, and I think it connects to the idea of Ben Azai, that recognizing everyone's role and position in the world, recognize Sefer Torah Adam, this is the book of the creation of earth, that leads to peace. So, Marga Bapomir de Rabbanan de Yavna, the rabbis in Yavna were living at the time of the destruction of the Second Temple. The Romans were ruling the place. It was a terrible time for Jews, and you can imagine all sorts of things they could have said. But what their theme they repeated was Ani Beria v'Chavrai Beria. I'm a creature, and my friend is also a creature. That guy over there. Ani melachti ba'ir v'hu melachti b'sadeh. I am fortunate. I work in the city. He works in the field. Ani mashkim lemalachti v'hu mashkim lemalachto. I get up to my work. He gets up for his work. Kishem shoeinu mitgader b'malachti, kach ani eini mitgader b'malachto. Just as he doesn't come and try and do my work, so I don't try and do his work. Shema tamar ani marbeh v'hu mamit. Maybe you'll say, well, yeah, but I make more money than he does, or I do better work than he does, or I'm doing more and he does less. Shanina, we have a principle. Echad hamarbeh ve'echad hamamit. It makes no difference if you do a lot or a little, provided you're directing your heart to God, to heaven. So that everyone is different. Everyone's got a role to play in the world. Each person has a different job in a different place and a different amount they can do. But as long as everyone's doing it for the sake of heaven, that's going to lead to peace. So as long as you recognize that we're all in this together, we're all making the world a better place, each doing our own unique role. Pirkei Avot, we know Rishon ben Gamliel, but Rishon Tanya takes it just one step further. Taman Tania is taught in Pirkei Avot, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, who's the end of Yavna, right? He says, Al Shlosha Dvarim Ha'olam Omed. Michael's going to tell me he moved to the Galilee and wasn't in Yavna, but maybe he was. The world stands on three things: Al Hadin, V'al Amet, V'Shalom, on justice, on truth, and on peace. V'shtan Dvar Echad Hen, and the Yerushalmi says all three are really the same thing. Naseh Hadin, Naseh Amet. If you do justice, then you've done truth. Naseh Emet, Naseh Shalom. If you've accomplished truth, then you've accomplished peace. Amar Rav Mani U'Shloshan B'Pasuk Echad. Rav Mani says all three of these ideas, pillars, are all in one verse. Says Emet u'Mishpat Shalom Shaftu B'Sharechem. Truth and justice and peace should rule in your gates. So that's the importance of peace. And finally, I forgot about the Yar Dvash. Almost penultimately, Yar Dvash says, Birkat Shisim Shalom Yishnit Palel Ale Shalom. When you pray Shisim Shalom, you should pray for peace. Ki ein kli machzik bracha ele shalom. Because the only vehicle for blessing is peace. Ki hu kesher nechmad. Peace is the what ties it all together. Hu achdut gamor shel Yisrael. This is the unity of the Jewish people. When you pray for peace, you should pray that there's no fighting amongst the Jews. And no jealousy or hatred or competition. Everybody should be united in the ultimate love and connection and unity. All of the Jews should become like one soul. You should have intent to fulfill the mitzvah of you should love your neighbor as yourself. Because that is a principle, the fundamental principle of the whole Torah. This is the essence of your prayer. Shehu klal kol tefillah, which is like the summary, the completion, the totality of all of the prayer. You should pray that you shouldn't have any anger. You should be humble. The call to everyone you deal with. Shalom, that leads to peace. Because if there's anger, there's no peace. So you should be praying to get rid of your anger. And now I wanted to finish. Again, not finishing. There's an extra. No, that is. Okay. Sorry, it's not Brachot 17. That's what's confusing me. The last Mishnah, the last tractate of Mishnah is called Uktzin. Deals with handles of things for Tumah. Doesn't matter. The very last Mishnah, in all of the 63 books of Mishnah, is as follows. So this should, instead of Brachot 17, it should say Uktzin, chapter 3, Mishnah 12. Amar Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says, Atira Kadosh Baruch Hu l'anchil l'chol tzadik v'tzadik shalosh me'ot ve'asara olamot. In the future, every righteous person is going to inherit 310 worlds. Don't ask me what that means. I don't know. Shneimar l'anchil oav hayesh v'otzrotem amaleh, because it says in Mishlei, I will give to those who love me yesh. Yesh is in Gematria 310, and I will fill their storehouses. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Chalafta. Rabbi Shimon ben Chalafta says, Lo matzah Kadosh Baruch Hu kli machzik bracha l'Yisrael ela hashalom. God couldn't find any better container to hold the blessings for Israel better than peace. Shneimar, as it says, Hashem oz le'amo yiten. God gave His people strength. Hashem yivarechet amo v'shalom. God blessed His people with peace. Please God, may we all have peace, individually, together, and for all of Am Yisrael and all of the world. Let's have some peace, and I'll see you back next week for Elokai Neshama. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, David.